Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about ways you can jumpstart your training. If you are a beginner and you want to just move on up and get to those moves that you're just itching to do, or even if you're more advanced and you want to get a boost, maybe you have a competition or a performance coming up, you want to really push yourself and improve quickly. That's what we're going to talk about today, because there are some things that you can do to get the absolute most out of your training all of the time, and they're going to make a big difference in how fast you advance. Of course, everything in aerial takes, let's hear it, hard work and time, and a lot of this is a process of building strength, building flexibility, which are both things that take time, but there are little tweaks that can help. So we're going to talk about those today. I will say that it is important, very important, to have patience with your aerial training though, because the better you get, the more time it takes to learn new moves, because you're learning things that are harder, and you just got to have some patience. So prepare thyself to wait and to try and to fail and to try some more and to fail and then try again and then also fail and then try and then fail and then try and then fail and then try and then get it. And the getting it's going to be freaking great, but it's a long road. Especially as you get more advanced and you're doing harder moves. That being said, let's move on to how to get the absolute most out of your training now and maybe get a little bit closer to those harder moves. The first thing I want to talk about is going to be a little bit controversial. I'm jumping into the deep end of the water with the controversy here, because we're going to talk about how you get on the hoop. The part that is not controversial is that if you do not mount the hoop properly, if you walk up to the hoop and throw a leg on, if you randomly just climb up however is easiest for you, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help your training. It's not going to help your strength. It's not going to help your coordination. It's not going to make you better at mounts. You're just losing time. Every time you walk over to the hoop and you just throw your leg up, you're losing the chance to make your mounts better. So don't miss that chance. Use every single time you get on the hoop to do a proper mount and take the most out of that training that you can get. Doing just 3 mounts to practice at the beginning of class and then throwing your leg on for the rest of class, it's not going to help that much. It's going to slow you down in your improvement. Now we come to the controversial part. There is a mount that I personally do not teach because I feel that it lends itself, while it is a technically correct mount, it lends itself to people using it as a crutch. I'm talking about the Delilah mount. Now, before everyone just freaks out and runs around like their hair's on fire, let me just explain what I'm saying. The Delilah mount is a very legitimate mount. It is totally acceptable to use in choreography and combos in class if you're training. I do see very often, especially beginner students, who get a Delilah mount, which is basically just throwing your leg over the hoop, and never learn to invert. Inversion is a key base of aerial arts, all aerial arts. Any aerial art you're doing, you need to be able to invert confidently. If you're doing a Delilah mount, you are not inverting, you're not practicing your invert. So I personally never teach Delilah mounts unless they are specifically needed for choreography, because I don't want people to go, oh yeah, I can get on the hoop with a mount like this, Delilah mount, and you're not doing your straddle mount, you're not doing your trapeze mount, you're not doing your pullover mount, you're not inverting, and it's not really going to help you. So that's my hot take on Delilah mounts, and please be kind in the comments if you're particularly attached to a Delilah mount. My next little shortcut to getting the most out of your training is something that probably you've heard before. Maybe it's a little bit of a drag to hear, but there's a reason your teacher keeps saying it. It is straightening your knees and pointing your feet. Straight knees and pointed feet make the difference between a professional and an amateur. They are so important at all times. Anytime your knee is straight, there's a big difference between, oh, my knee is not bent, versus my knee is straight. When I say straight, what I mean is that it is straightened to the most that you can straighten it, and the muscles on the front of your knees are engaged and squeezing. That is a straight leg, that is a straight knee. When I say point your foot, I mean that the ankle and the toes are both pointed. So you have this nice, fully pointed shape. If you just point your ankle and your toes aren't pointed, you've got floppiness happening out here. If you just point your toes and your ankle's not pointed, you've got trapeze foot. We never want to see a trapeze foot. We always want to see a beautifully, fully pointed foot. If you do both of those things, not only when you're doing moves, but when you're doing transitions, when you're mounting the hoop, when you're testing out some new idea, get in the muscle memory habit of fully straightening your knees and fully pointing your feet. And then you won't have to think about it so much. It will happen naturally and it will look gorgeous. If you're just letting your knees relax and, oh, it's not that important, I'm just getting onto the hoop right now, it's fine. You're building the muscle memory of having your knees relaxed and your feet floppy. No one wants that. Don't do it. Straighten your knees, point your feet. I will also just throw in for us more like contemporary movement people, flex feet are also a totally legitimate option, but you want to make sure you're showing that you're choosing to have a flexed foot. So you want to have either a pointed foot, fully pointed, or a fully flexed foot, and you never want to be in like this kind of floppy what's it doing area. So make a strong choice, choose a flexed foot, choose a pointed foot, don't be ambiguous. All right, my third shortcut today is to always try any move at least twice. If it's painful, if it's like, oh, I'm going to injure myself if I try this, especially if you're training on your own, that's an exception to this rule. But if it's a move, you do it and you're like, I don't think I look good doing it. I don't feel that comfortable. It feels a bit weird. I don't really understand it in my brain. Try it again. Don't give up after the first time, because there are a lot of moves that require a specific body placement or a specific hand placement. For example, Russian rolls. If you do a Russian roll and your hands are 1 centimeter out of the good placement, it's going to be exponentially harder than if your hands are in the good placement. If you try it the first time, your hands probably aren't in the good placement because you've never tried it before, and it's not going to be successful. If you keep trying, if you try it many, many more times, instead of just saying, oh, this move's not for me, then you're going to find the good placement. It's going to come over time. So don't try a move one time and be like, I don't think it looks good on me, and then let it go. Try at least 2 times or 200 times before you give up. Here's a move that I personally never thought was going to be my thing. I worked on it in training just as a strength builder, and I eventually really like it on myself, and I use it in my acts. It's just because I kept doing it that it became more and more natural and started to look better and better on my body. All right, tip number 4, think about your head. The head is so important in all aerial training, performance, anything you're doing in the air. Your head is a massive part of it. As humans, we have a natural instinct to look at faces. So the place that your audience's eye is drawn, first of all, is your face. Your face is on your head. If your head is doing something weird, like looking down at your legs while you're doing a move, or just doing something weird that breaks the line of your body, it's going to mess up your whole shape. If your head is nicely aligned and complementing the shape that you're making, it makes a huge, 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 very noticeable difference. Now, back to your face for just a moment. Face is so important. Obviously, if you're performing, you want to use your face, you want to be acting, you want to be emoting something. But even in your training, use your face. If something is painful, try to have a little smile on your face. If you're struggling, try to relax your face. There's something about like how we are made as humans, like whatever your face is doing, your body takes its cue from your face. For example, have you ever been writing a text message and you're writing like, oh, haha, like, I'll see you later, I can't wait. And you find yourself smiling even though the person you're writing to can't see you? It's that same kind of concept. If your face is doing it, your body falls into line. And finally, my most important thing that I'm going to talk about today. This is the secret to all training ever. It is the most important thing I can tell you as an aerialist. Never, ever, ever say, I can't do this. Let me explain that a little bit, because I know it sounds like kind of like inspirational crap, but it's really important. Here's why. As soon as you say, I can't do this, the conversation is over. If you say, here's a move, I'm going to try it, it doesn't go well, and then you say, I just can't do that move. You are absolutely right, because you will not be doing that move. And you are just drawing a straight line that says, nope, not for me, not going to happen. You're right. It's not going to happen if you say, I can't do this. Instead, try, I can't do this yet. I will do this in the future. I will learn how to do this. Obviously, not every move is for everybody. But if you say, I can't do this move, you are guaranteeing that that move is not going to happen for you. So don't do it. Don't do it. Keep an open mind. Like I said before, there are moves that I never, ever thought that I would be including in a performance or anything other than training that are now some of my staple moves when I'm on stage. You'll surprise yourself, I promise, but never cut yourself off, never cut yourself short by saying, I can't do this. The other version of I can't do this is my body doesn't do this. Yes, I realize that everyone has different bodies and that some bodies are more able to do flexy things or strength things, or talk. Apparently mine doesn't talk today, but you know, I know that everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses and their abilities and their things that they struggle with. But if you say, my body doesn't do that, again, you are drawing a hard line that cuts you off and says, no, your body never will learn to do this because you're not giving it the opportunity to. So give yourself the chance. Give yourself the chance and say, my body will learn this someday. My body can change to be able to do that if I work enough at it. My body can do a version of this if I find the best version for my body. I can learn to do that. I can train to do that. Nobody starts out being perfect. We all are on a journey where you got to learn, you got to train, you got to improve. Don't cut that journey off by saying I can't or my body doesn't. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you feel more empowered in your training, and it helps jumpstart and move you up to that next level that I know we're always all trying to get to. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please also subscribe to my channel because we've got a lot of things happening over there. We've got videos like this, but we've also got tutorials for individual moves. And with that, I will start my training for the day, and I'll see you guys next time.